We are honored to have the presence of Commissioner Bernard Kerik. He's a hero from 9/11 with the NYPD. The image of Bernard Kerik running to Ground Zero, a block away from where I broadcast from, where we broadcast from every morning with his Mayor Giuliani. So we always appreciate all that Bernie did. We always felt that he was, and this is me talking now, railroaded, and now he got a full presidential pardon. And fresh from that pardon, Commissioner Kerik in the studio. Bernie, great to see you. Congratulations, man.
Thanks,
to
Joe.
see you here. Because I heard it. I'm with my buddy, Captain Frank. We're driving back from a gig. He's driving, and the radio's on. And all of a sudden, arbitrarily, the president goes, yeah, and Bernard Kerik, I'm going to pardon Bernard Kerik. And I go, wait, and I asked my friend, did I just hear that? Because there was no leak. No leak came out, right? Nothing came out.
No.
And,
well, I have to say, there was a slight leak. Charlie Gasparino from Fox Business, he put out a tweet saying, "Scoop, Kerik's going to get pardoned and Blagojevich is going to get commuted." And I sent him a note and I said, "Dude, why are you saying this?"
Yeah.
And he sends me back a note and he says, "I have a really good source."
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was an intentional leak. You know how those.
Yeah,
things go.
yeah. Charlie's good at that though. He get.
All right, Joe, first things first.
Oh, go ahead.
My daughter, Celine, today is her 20th birthday, and I have to say
baby.
happy birthday to my baby girl. She's
That's so
she's
great,
out of Michigan State, but she's actually right now on some beach somewhere in Florida with her mom. But I wanted to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So you are a great family guy. Let me start there for a second because remember we went on, there was a boat thing we went on and then I was stranded.
Yeah, when you were chasing the 14-year-old girl.
No,
I
was not. Stop it. See, you got to start with that. She wasn't 14 years old.
All right,
she,
19 and a half.
She was not. She was.
Ow, 19. 18, maybe.
I can't. This is going to be a tough morning now with my buddy.
You have questions for me or what?
She,
Did Frank give you anything?
Let me
Frank?
verify. There was a gal that worked as part of the crew. She must have been, I would say,
Joe, you're going down the wrong
30.
road here. You know what I mean? Don't
Ask
go
the
down
question.
that road.
35, 35.
Stick to the script here.
And so, but I left the boat. I'm there and I'm stranded.
You're still on the boat,
Listen
Joe.
to me. And I'm going. I got no ride home. Who pulls up to help me? You pulled up with your family, and we all went out together.
Well, I was trying to keep you away from the girl. So go ahead. Give me some questions. Do something, will you? Please earn your money. Where's Jerry? Get Jerry on the phone.
He's coming up. So, and then I heard that you got pardoned. So I called Bernie Kerik. I said, I get on the phone and and it doesn't answer. So I try again, and I'm calling Bernie. I know he's got 1,000 phone calls, and then he says he picks up and he goes, "You're the only phone call," and I'm cleaning this up. You're the only phone call. It was so funny. And then I said, Bernie, I said, congratulations, man. And I said, dude, what'd you get? Was it commuted? And you said 3 words, full presidential pardon.
Yeah.
Boom.
He called a couple minutes before 12. I answered the phone. It's kind of weird. I've known him a long time. I see him once in a while. We've spoken over the last several years at the various White House events for criminal justice reform. And, I know him. He's a friend. But when that kid gets on the phone and says, "Stand by for the President of the United States," I nearly slid off my chair. And he got on the phone. He said, "Listen, as I'm talking to you, I'm signing your full presidential pardon, which will eliminate your federal record, and I want you to move on with your life." And I was pretty emotional, but it was a good day. And then you called, as did about 1,800 other people.
Wow.
I had
Wow.
in 5 hours, 5.5 hours. I had
Yeah.
1,710 text messages. So it was a busy afternoon.
Yeah. So now you're free to do whatever you want. You don't, and now people are coming to you to run for office. Are you going to work in the White House? What's next for Commissioner Bernard Kerik?
All right, Joe. Let's get something straight. I want to make sure everybody hears this.
Okay.
I had a bunch of guys call me, lawyers, people from New Jersey. You should think about running for Congress, Senate, whatever. And I told one of the guys, I said, "Listen, you've been up to my office in my house?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "On that bookshelf, there's 3 ceremonial Coca-Cola nightsticks, like the hardest wood in the world. He said, yeah. I said, if I tell my son and my 2 daughters who live at home, if I tell them that I'm going to run for Congress, they're going to grab those nightsticks and they're going to beat me into oblivion. So there's no running for Congress. It's not what I'm looking to do. I think there's other people out there that can do that. I'm going to support the president, as I have done for the last 3-4 years, even before he was, the candidate, so to speak. And I'll move on with my life.
So Frankie keeps saying the Bureau of Prisons, that needs to be cleaned up. If the president came to you, Bernard Kerik, and said, would you run the Bureau of Prisons for the United States?
Yeah, you know what, Joe? I don't know if I would run the Bureau of Prisons, but I'd like the Bureau of Prisons to put a director in place that can, one, clean it up, eliminate the corruption, implement the policies that the president has enacted with the First Step Act. Because at the end of the day, there's a bunch of things within the First Step Act that the BOP is still not doing. This is over a year ago that he signed this bill, signed it into law, and there's still things going on that it's not getting done. So somebody's got to focus on that kind of stuff. This is basic management 101. This is the kind of stuff that Rudy and I did in the NYPD, in Rikers.
Yeah.
And it should be done.
What happened to Rikers? You had it running like clockwork over there, for goodness sake. Most violent criminals in the world were over there. You had it running great. What happened?
Well, that's what happens when you have a lack of accountability and management, and there's corruption, and you come up with a theme that we're just gonna move everybody out. We're going to spend $10 billion on new facilities, and we're going to take the same inmates, the same staff, the same corruption, the same mismanagement, and we're just going to move it to a new place. Yeah. It's ludicrous. It's stupid. It should have never this was a bad idea.
Hey, did you see the Eddie Gallagher piece on 60 Minutes? Did you watch that?
I did.
And then it was a great profile, and I was listening to it on the radio. Some people were negative toward it, but I love that you stood by him. What a great guy.
Listen, the people that were negative, these are the people on the left.
Yeah.
That know, they all swear up and down. They're all about criminal justice reform, and they're all into changing the system until it's somebody that they don't like. It's somebody that they don't agree with. Eddie Gallagher's criminal case, he had prosecutors that violated the law to enforce the law. They lied. They deceived the court. They put tracking beacons on our emails to basically monitor what we were doing, which is a crime. That's a federal crime. But I don't see those people. I don't see none of them screaming and yelling about that. They're screaming and yelling, Eddie Gallagher was a war criminal. No, he wasn't. No, he's not.
Yeah.
He was acquitted. He was convicted of taking a photo with a dead terrorist. And if you're going to convict him and you're going to charge him, then there's about, 50, 100,000 troops all over the country, all over the world that, you may have to charge them too. So stop the selective prosecution and move on.
And what's Chief Gallagher doing now?
He's retired.
He stepped away, right? And you made sure that he got his pension.
Well, me and I want to be clear. He had a phenomenal legal team.
You put it together, Bernie. You're being modest.
No, I brought the guys in, Tim Parlatore and Mark Mukasey. But at the end of the day, he had a great legal team, plus the JAGs that were involved, the other lawyers. But they did a phenomenal job.
Stay with us if ever, Bernie, because sometimes I have to. I do. We know each other very well. I'm careful what I ask, what I don't ask. I don't want to get. But I have to tell you, when we were at dinner at the Brownstone, was that where we were at the Brownstone?
Yeah.
And we were there with Eddie. Those SEAL guys are like monsters.
And well, listen.
But I mean, they were humanly like human.
Yeah, but you know what, Joe? All of these guys, whether it's Navy SEALs or Special Operations guys out of Fort Bragg or Delta, or
you were just with them in Vegas. Were you with all those folks?
I was with a bunch of guys out there. At the end of the day, these are men that love this country. They're extreme patriots. They risk their lives on a daily basis and go out and do things that nobody else would have the courage to do.
Yeah.
They do it well. And listen, we live in a time where we're not fighting conventional wars anymore, right? We're not fighting states, and we're not fighting foreign countries. We're fighting radical Islam in many fronts, on many fronts around the world. And you need an unconventional, you need somebody that's going to pick your lock, open your door, go in at 3 a.m, put 2 in your head, and walk out. These are called high-value targets, and they have, they're either going to kill them or they're going to kill us, one or the other.
It's
like Eddie said in that piece. Everybody focused on that piece. They said, oh, he was a teenager. No, he was a military-aged male who was trying all morning to kill the Americans and the Iraqis. They killed 3 Iraqis. They shot up the compound. 39 of the terrorists were killed. 1 was left. He later died. That's the terrorist that they charged Eddie with killing. What was his job? Kill the enemy. That was his job.
I know. And he's a good guy. And
he's a good man.
And his wife is nice. The family's nice. And his brother as well. Stop me if I get too personal, because we have a delay here. We could kill it. We got a 9-second delay. Your son, what a stellar individual. Again, he is big. He is strong. Can we talk about what he did in Jersey City recently? But
Joe, it's just not my son. It's Jersey City. In fact, I guess I could say this now. NAPO, the National Association of Police Officers, just notified him and 9 others from Jersey City that they're going to be honored in Washington in May.
Wow!
For that
Congratulations,
event.
That's great.
The cops in Jersey City did a phenomenal job responding to that event. You had Joe Seals was killed. You had 2 cops shot. You had 3, the Jewish people in the market were killed. And Joe and these others took these guys out. That's their job. That's what they do. And they don't ask for fanfare. In fact, Joe's probably having a spastic heart attack right now that I'm talking about it. But at the end of the day, the Jersey City cops that were with him were phenomenal.
It is. We're talking about the terror incident in Jersey City, and Bernie's son was in there as one of the SWAT teams from Newark that came over to Jersey City, went in, broke down the deli, and took out the killer creep. What do you say to your son? I'll leave it after this, if I may, because I'm a dedicated father like you are. What do you say to your son right after the incident when you first saw him?
Are you okay? Listen, I went to the hospital. When I heard about it, he was on the way to the hospital with the other cops that he was involved with. They were going to the hospital to get checked out. My concern is, are you okay? Listen, I've been through hundreds of these, unfortunately. I know what it's like. It's a little different when you're the parent, regardless of your background, regardless of what you've done. That's your kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and born in Newark, New Jersey. And when I talked to Rudy Giuliani recently, he said during 9/11, when you guys went to Ground Zero, when it happened, and those bodies were flying, and it was just a horror like we never could imagine, Rudy said something I thought was very telling. He said, having Commissioner Kerik by my side, he never showed fear in his face. And he said at that time, when it's that dramatic a moment, where you have to take care of those hurt the most, you don't want to show fear. He said you were so stoic in that. Did you know that you were doing that, or was it just instinct?
No, it's pretty much instinct. I mean, anybody in my position, whether it's Commissioner Shea now or it would have been Bratton or Ray Kelly, anybody in my position, you have a job to do. Your job is to lead the men and women under your command, to inspire them, to motivate them, to make sure that they feel supported, and you got to get out there and you got to do that. It's like it's sort of like General Patton, He was a motivator. He was an insightful guy. He would slap some of these guys around once in a while, but you got to do that too. But that's the way you motivate them.
It's so true. And as you walk down this area now, Bernie, after you saw complete devastation, see it built up, what are your feelings as you walk these streets?
Well, listen, Joe, I take people on tours over at the museum, the memorial, up in the Freedom Tower. A couple months ago, I actually took 2 of the guys that were in SEAL Team 6 that were on the Bin Laden raid.
Wow.
That killed Bin Laden. I actually took them up in the Freedom Tower, and we were standing at the top, on the top floor, looking out over the city. I was in the middle. They were on each side of me. And at some point, they looked at me and they said, it's kind of weird. Like, You were here when it started, and we were there when it ended. And it was something to think about. You know what I mean?
Is that Rob O'Neill?
No, this was Matt Bissonette and Garrett Golden.
Yeah.
And I've been down there with Rob too. In fact, Rob and I did a special on Fox on the anniversary last year.
Right. Hey, Commissioner, before we let you go, too, when I ever heard your case and then you had to go to jail, I was saying to myself, this sounds like you were railroaded. You were railroaded. Tell us, before we let you go, Bernie, tell us, but people don't understand, I had this discussion with my brother the other day, is when the president gets it, this president understands and sees how law enforcement could just go right up against you in the Department of Justice, what's happening with General Flynn, what happened with even Roger Stone. Roger's a character, but he's facing 3 years.
Here's the thing, Joe. The Department of Justice has got to get a handle on rogue prosecutors and prosecutors that selectively and politically target people. It's got to stop. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to violate the law to enforce the law. You're not supposed to target people for political reasons. That is consistently happening. It's increasing, consistently increasing. And I think the president, nobody gets it better than him because he himself has been targeted. His family has been targeted. His friends have been targeted. His lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has been targeted. Nobody gets it better than they do.
Yeah. Hey, Commissioner Bernard Kerik, before we let you go, Bernie, Michael Bloomberg, Bernie Sanders, politically, Super Tuesday today. What do you think?
I'm wishing all the best for Bernie Sanders. Bloomberg has a recollection problem. He said he fixed and he took care of the city after 9/11. He wasn't nowhere to be found for 3.5 months.
He said he stood on the pile of 9/11. You were there on the pile. We saw pictures.
I missed that one. And at the end of the day, I've got a problem with the former mayor. His whole stop, question, and frisk. Reinvention. How he's reflecting, and it kind of makes me sick. Politics these days makes me sick, but I'm hoping Bernie Sanders the man. Give him that nomination. Let him. Listen, I'm gonna real quick, Joe, because this is important.
Please.
For 19 years, I have said consistently that my greatest fear is the threat of radical Islam in this country. Today, that's changed. My greatest fear for this country and our democracy and our republic is this socialist movement, this communist movement that Bernie Sanders, AOC, and others are pushing that could really destroy this country. And I think the American people need to wake up.
Commissioner Kerik, you're a hero, man. We appreciate it. We congratulate you. And we're honored that you came into the studio too, Bernie, too.
It's about time you're here. I come in, I walk in, Al goes, Joe's home. Yeah, he made me come all the way in at 7:30 in the morning. Joe's home.
I'm here for you today.
From home.
my buddy, breaking my chops 24/7 right here. That's the former commissioner of the stellar NYPD and a stellar gentleman himself, Bernie Kerik. Thank you, Commissioner.
Stellar, there's a word.
What do you think, huh?
Stellar.
Never heard that before.